Volleyball Grand Prix 1996. It's the last day in the Osaka pool. 8 teams competing in the World Volleyball Grand Prix, including the 3 past champions in 1995, the USA. In 94, Brazil won it, and then back in 1993, Cuba emerged victorious. Those teams back to try their luck in 1996, and we'll get a look at the 4 teams competing in the Osaka pool. Brazil, of course, already a winner in the Jakarta pool. That was last week in Indonesia. The USA, after coming out flat in Jakarta, have really picked it up, and they are now sitting atop the points table here in the Osaka pool. You see it there, 2-0 with wins over Russia and Brazil, including yesterday a straight set victory over the Russians. Coach Terry Liskovich admitted surprise afterwards. He expected a much tougher one from the Russians. Japan losing a heartbreaker to the Brazilians in 5 sets. Japan came from a long way back, but weren't enough to take out the Brazilians. So that sets up this, the USA against Japan. That's coming up next on ESPN. Team, the players to watch out for: Obayashi, one of the top 5 scorers in the WVGP, Asako Tajimi, Naomi Ito, Maki Fujiyoshi, a big hitter from outside, and Akuma Ogake, one of the 2 best diggers in the WVGP, along with Nagatomi. And the American side, T. Williams, Yoko Zetterlund, Karen Kemner, Danielle Scott, and Tara Crossbattle. Crossbattle also one of the top 5 scorers in the WVGP, a very offensive one. And you see Elaina Oden, that rounds out the starting lineup. Yoko Zetterlund will be the setter for the American side. We take a look at Obayashi and Chuck Schreiner. She is one of the strongest players in the Japanese side, really the leader for this team.
Yeah, not only that, Sean, but one of the strongest players in the tournament. If you look at all the offensive, defensive categories, you'll see Obayashi's name there.
And there was a player that was very strong yesterday against the Brazilians. We did not expect to see, rather, a lot of offense from Tajimi. Instead, she exploded off the wings.
Yeah, Tajimi also set up Obayashi with a lot of important kills, and Fujiyoshi also.
Fujiyoshi, one of the most important players to this Japanese side. She really represents the future of volleyball in Japan.
That's absolutely right. She's only 22 years old, but she plays a lot older than that. It takes 6 to 8 years for these players to develop.
Nobuchika Kuzuwa is the coach for Japan. You got to be feeling that he's a little sick of losing here in the WVGP. He wants a win today against the USA.
Well, as he said in his press conference before the game, the Americans aren't any secret to the Japanese. They've got a lot of data on them, so watch for a real close match.
Serving will be Danielle Scott, best blocker on a U.S. side that really relies on blocking to bring themselves back into matches.
That's right. They're a real tall team. Any blocks that they can get sets up that power game that they like to use.
The quick set, that was Ito. Oden puts it up. This will be a free ball to the Japanese. Again, the quick set. And that is touched by an American. So this will be a side out. Ito will serve. Karen Kemner taking that ball. Zetterlund sets the quick one, and in the middle, it's Oden, Elaina Oden, and we will see a lot from her today in the middle.
Yeah, Oden, what she'll like to do is she'll try to set up a cross battle and Danielle Scott for the kills. She's a very good setter, set from anywhere.
That was Fujiyoshi, and she goes with a little change up. They were expecting the big hit from her. Instead, she goes to the touch.
Yeah, that's what the Japanese are going to have to do to be effective against this American strong blocking team. Mix everything up.
Ogaki with the jump serve. Oden dummies. You'll see a lot of that decoying from Oden in the middle. The libero over for Obayashi. Zetterlund saves that one. Kemner's ball. The libero Nakamura pulls that back. Fujiyoshi from long range. Good defensive work by both sides here in the early going, and Kemner ends it by sending that ball long untouched by Japan.
Yeah, the American strategy on that particular point was to stay back and take their digs and then take their spikes from little long-range distances.
Danielle Scott over for Kemner. Off the net, that slows it down. Fujiyoshi now. Zetterlund's bump set. Ito, a quick one. Fujiyoshi looked to bury that one. Wasn't going to happen. And that ball was live until it went off the back of Elaina Oden and coming off the hand of who else? Obayashi.
Yeah, Obayashi doing a lot of good things out there already. They're mixing it up. They're using these real short sets. They're kind of confusing the American blockers at the moment. That's in, I believe.
That one is called in, a borderline call, Chuck Schreiner. That looked, from my vantage point, to be a little long.
It did.
And that does go long. So at 0-3, the USA will get the ball back. But a quick start for the Japanese. They have needed this, don't they?
They've got to do it to stay competitive, because as the match grows longer, the power does show up a little bit more.
Fujiyoshi's ball. 2 touches by the Americans. Scott forced to concede this one. And then Japan makes a mistake. Fujiyoshi's ball. Both teams now a little tentative in the front court. And Oden's ball goes long. Both sides looked hesitant on that last exchange.
Yeah, they certainly do. The Americans are having a hard time getting their power game going. They're a little bit confused by the soft touches of this Japanese team. Japanese team not passing very well on the other side.
Obayashi's floater. Back for T. Williams, and she goes down the line. That is a bullet from T. Williams.
That's the first time the Americans have gone down that wing, and that's T. Williams' specialty, that left wing there. She can also do it from the other side.
Elaina Oden goes short with the serve. Nice job to get the ball over to number 12, Asako Tajimi. That's our first look at her today, but she really gave the Japanese team a lift in their match against Brazil. She will serve. Over again for T. Williams. I believe that was touched by a Japanese player.
Again, Williams going down that left side. American team, a very experienced team. Several girls in their 30s.
Kemner, one of those veterans. Zetterlund, a reverse set to Danielle Scott. And the block goes outside. Ito wasn't able to handle the ball from Scott.
Okay, this time Williams goes over to that right side. And yeah, didn't fool anybody, but the ball goes out on the block.
And Ito returning the favor. She goes up against Scott. And on a tight angle, sends the ball the other way. That Japan gets the ball back at 3-1. Back from behind the attack line, Fujiyoshi going wide with the ball.
Yeah, the Japanese early on having a lot of success in that middle, not so when they look for the spikes on the wings.
And Fujiyoshi will take a seat on the bench. Obayashi, a free ball now to the Americans. Zetterlund, that was a good set. And then USA, a scramble in their front court. I don't think they were expecting that ball to be blocked so effectively by Japan.
I think you're absolutely right, Sean. That's about the 3rd time they've been surprised.
Over again for T. Williams. Actually, that time it was Tara cross battle, number 13 for the Americans. That left side for the USA has really worked well for them.
Yeah, they're trying to exploit it very early on.
Ito, and an arm save from Williams, not enough. That will be a side out to Japan, and Ito will serve. Nice save off of Oden's shot. Obayashi's ball, that will be brought in by Danielle Scott. Over for cross battle, and watch the blocking for Japan. Obayashi and Tajimi that time.
Tremendous stuff over there on the right-hand side. There you see cross battle trying to get it right into the blockers. Nice block, Obayashi.
And cross battle on a tough angle as she was flying outside.
She loves to reverse her side. There she goes, going left to right. Leaping out of bounds almost before she makes the touch on that ball. Very effective.
That was Obayashi who went wide. Nakamura, the libero, she struggled yesterday against Brazil, didn't she?
That didn't have her best game. Didn't have her best game at all.
Nakamura, good reach from her to bring that ball back into play. Obayashi goes down the line and misses. So that will be a point for the USA.
Here we go on the set again. Nakamura with the libero with the save.
Back to Fujiyoshi. The USA have her well marked. Cross battles ball again blocked by Tajimi. So they have neutralized cross battle here in the early going.
Yeah, what's happening is the Americans on their spikes they're well behind the attack line, unlike the Brazilians who would start back there but end up real close to the net. It's giving them a little bit more time to react.
That ball from Kemner gets by Tajimi and Obayashi. So the USA will get the ball back, and you see Kemner saying we've got to stay deeper on those serves from Japan. They side out. I think there was, yes, the ball touching the net on the serve.
Very slight touch, but it was contact.
The reverse set to Kemner. Good work to bring that ball back in. That's Danielle Scott from a long way back. Nakamura, the libero, digs that ball out. And that one gets by Tajimi.
Well, T. Williams that time, a little bit closer to the net, as you can see. Right into the blockers.
Actually, Tajimi and Obayashi almost brought that ball back to the American side. Not enough, however. Fujiyoshi against two players. T. Williams guarding nicely. Free one now for the USA. The reverse to Kemner. Now to the other side against T. Williams, and she finds the hole. She spotted it in the corner.
Yeah, they isolated T. Williams on that left side. Almost all the other American girls were on the opposite side. Two blockers to go through, but a nice path there for her to see.
And that will be a point for the USA. So 5-4, we're going to get the technical timeout. And when we return, the USA on top of Japan, 5-4. A technical timeout, Japan down 5-4. We've noticed that the USA very sharp on defense against this Japanese side.
Yeah, that's their mainstay. What they're going to try and do is block. They're going to try and set up, get the best possible shot. They might not be as powerful as teams like Brazil or Cuba, but they're very smart. They played together for a long time.
If you've just joined us, the USA already 2 victories here in the Osaka pool. With a win today, they would take the Osaka pool and pocket 50,000 American dollars. Meanwhile, Japan is still looking for their first win in the WVGP. And that time going down the line, it's Asako Tajimi.
With Tajimi finding that left side almost vacant. 2 single rows of American girls able to stick it down that line.
Zetterlund for Kemner, and she saw the hole. Japan have had some defensive lapses, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They're in 2 minds. Although they want to go up to the net and do all the blocking, they really don't have the height to do that. So sometimes gaps develop.
Zetterlund for T. Williams, and again, that back right corner.
Well, Williams just drilling this ball from left to right. That's the 2nd or 3rd time she's been able to find that hole.
5 attacks already, only 6 points for the USA. And that goes long, untouched by an American blocker. Make it 7-4 now for the US. Over for Fujiyoshi. And again, the USA very tight on defense. That'll be Obayashi. Kemner spotted it. Nice dive that time to dig it from cross battle. And T. Williams finishes it off against Nagatomi and Fujiyoshi.
That's her favorite spot, that left side. Oh, that's the 5th time now that I can see that she's done it. That's against 3 blockers, too.
So 6 attacks now for T. Williams, and Kazuha calls timeout.
Well, Japan came out real strong. I think they took a 3-0 lead. They've been outscored 8-1 since, though, Sean.
And in a press conference yesterday, Bernardo Rezende, when asked to comment about the Japanese side, he said they are going to have to improve and get more consistent if they want to compete against the world's best, and they are doing so today.
Oh, they are. This is just what the Japanese team needs. They need to play against teams like America, Cuba, Russia, China, some of these big powerhouses. They've got a young team, an inexperienced team.
Japanese team went to the Olympics, failed to qualify for the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, the USA finished in 7th position.
Real disappointing for the United States.
That's Fujiyoshi going wide. And the American blockers wisely laid off that ball. Now 9-4 in set number 1.
Yeah, but their coach obviously told them to use more angle stuff. That was just a bit wide.
Tajimi's ball blocked out the side of the court by the Americans, so Japan will get it back, down by 5.
You see Tajimi against 2 blockers.
Danielle Scott, a little dink shot. That's Ito. Kemner forced to dive. That ball from Ito may have been going outside too close, so Kemner forced to take it.
Yeah, I think what happened there is with Danielle Scott's short set, it wasn't a very good one. Forced the Americans to be defensive on that point.
Zetterlund for T. Williams. That will be playable. It's Fujiyoshi. And Chuck, one problem for the Japanese, not enough speed on any of their attacks. You see Fujiyoshi from behind the attack line, but the ball was going slow enough that the USA had time to react.
Yeah, the U.S. are mixing things up really, really well. They're going fast, slow, and they're keeping the ball very deep. Makes it difficult for the Japanese to get up to the attack line.
Zetterlund back for T. Williams, and that goes way long. And Fujiyoshi will come back into it. She goes in and out a lot, only 22 years of age. Kazuha grooming her to be an eventual mainstay on the Japanese side.
Well, with her and Obayashi in the lineup, they're going to be powerful in a year or two.
The reverse set from Scott, over for cross battle, and a quick attack from her fools the Japanese blockers.
Again, working that left side this time instead of Williams as cross battle. Finding the niche between those 2 blockers, going right angle just a bit, finding the space on the right-hand corner.
A little tight to the net, and Obayashi wastes no time going down that left side.
That's only her 2nd point on attack this time. Once she gets warmed up, though, look out.
Ito's floater for cross battle. You can hear Liskovich yelling, hurry, hurry. It's been the quick kills that have hurt the Japanese today. Kemner's shot. This is a free ball now for the Japanese side, and it's Obayashi. So a double-edged sword, of course, the quick kill from Japan. And that spells doom for the USA.
But there we see what Obayashi switching from that left to the right side. She can spike from either side just as effectively.
Nice dig. Obayashi's ball. And I don't think the backcourt thought that the blockers for the USA had actually touched this ball.
Here we see nice forearm save by number 3.
That was Nagatomi. So now Japan have quickly climbed back within 2. T. Williams was looking for help and didn't get it. So she plays a bump set. Now make it 8-9 for Japan. So down 9-4 at one point, now within 1.
Okay, there we see the soft set. Misdirection right into Kemner.
Cross battles ball, and that does get through the Japanese blockers.
That's the 3rd time cross battle's done that. She loves to come left to right. Good leaper. Almost goes out of bounds, reaching back over her body with that right hand.
And I think Japan had failed to rotate.
That'll cost them a point.
So we'll take a break and return to Osaka in a moment. Set And we heard Terry Liskovich urging the American team get those hands up on blocking. He's not satisfied with what they've done on the defensive side.
Yeah, the Americans about the tallest team in this tournament, and they need to make use of that. So it's imperative for them to get those hands up, be aggressive on these blocks.
Meanwhile, Japan has come back down 9-4, now back within 2. A net violation just before the break gave USA the 10th point, and we went to the technical timeout. So it will be Yoko Zetterlund, who was raised in Japan and went to university in Tokyo. Over 4, Tajimi, but that's a poor set from Obayashi. Cross battles ball. And really, that whole thing was set up when Obayashi missed her set to Tajimi.
Yeah, not only that, she saw that she didn't have the angle. She saw those American blockers there, and rather than risk that, she just tried to put the ball deep.
Very short serve from Zetterlund. Kemner plays that ball that may have been just outside the line. Gutsy extension roll on the dig from Zetterlund. The USA just hanging on by their fingernail, and then they get a point out of it. Nakamura, the libero, I think caught out of position.
Yeah, she was caught out of position, but gutsy performance by the American girls. And 2 or 3 times it looked like the Japanese had the ball on the floor. They're able to dig it out and cross battle with a smart save at the end.
Fujiyoshi's ball rejected by the U.S. And that will go outside. Nice shot that time by the Japanese attacker Ogake, and she will serve. And this is where Japan needs some points. It is crucial. They do not want the USA to go any further. T. Williams flies, and I think that catches the line.
USA doing a really good job of mixing things up, going left to right with Williams and a cross battle, that time right in the middle.
And cross battle will serve. And that ball goes down the line.
It was out.
It misses just outside, so 13-8 now. The USA within 2 of closing out the set. The reverse set over for Fujiyoshi, and that is a great ball from Fujiyoshi.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Japanese need to do, Sean. They need to keep it away from that front line. These American girls are just too tall, probably the tallest team in the tournament. They need to go longer with those spikes.
So 8-13, Japan down by 5, and it's a side out. Elaina Oden, we haven't heard a lot from her since very early in the first set.
Number 9 out. Number 3 Weishaupt
And
in.
Paula Weishaupt. Now this is interesting. Whenever Liskovich needs a lift for his side, he will bring in the veteran Paula Weishaupt.
Yeah, she's good for team morale in there. They're only 2 points away from sealing up this first set. What a great time to bring her in.
Back for Obayashi, and her ball to the backcourt, unable to be saved by Weishaupt.
Coming up from that back line, using full extension, hitting that left side, splitting those 2 defenders.
Weishaupt conceding one now to the Japanese, but a great block by T. Williams on a solo effort.
What a great leaper T. Williams is. 28 years old. I think she could play basketball too.
Kemner, a very quick serve. This will be easily handled by the U.S. The bump setting dangerously close to the net for the Japanese. It's Fujiyoshi, perhaps a ball she shouldn't have taken on the kill.
Yeah, what you saw in that sequence of play, Sean, the Japanese getting a little bit frustrated with the Americans blocking at the net, tried to get a little bit long, tried to dink one long. It was too high.
So a set point here for the United States at 14-8. But Fujiyoshi gets a ball through the American blockers, side out to Japan.
Yeah, those short serves have a purpose, Sean. What they're trying to do is keep Japan close to the net. where they are at the disadvantage.
Great block that time by Tajimi. And Ogake there over on the left of the screen.
Triple blocking that time.
Scott not able to do a lot with that ball. They send it back for Obayashi, who was caught out of position. And a nice turnaround that time by Zetterlund. She saw the opening and just dumped it over.
Yeah, you see how close these sets are to the net. What perfect teamwork.
Again, a set point now for the Americans, their second. And the short serve, a little too short. Aiki Nagatomi on the serve for Japan. Zetterlund, a beautiful set that time to Danielle Scott.
That's what Danielle Scott does so well. One of the leaders in this tournament in kills. Perfect set, nice and short.
And now they're going to try and bring on their best servers. Elaine Youngs comes in for Danielle Scott. Over for Obayashi. T. Williams puts that ball up. Zetterlund conceding one. Hit and blocked out the side of the court. So that will be a side out to the Japanese.
Nice reverse set by the Japanese. Obayashi there for the kill.
Back for cross battle. And Fujiyoshi unable to handle that ball from Tara cross battle.
Well, that's what the Americans doing so effectively in this first set. Cross battle and Williams both getting that ball deep on those spikes.
Set point number 4 for the USA. Unable to save it. That time Japan took a lot off the ball. USA was thinking kill. Instead, they go to the touch. Good direction that time to the middle of the court.
Yes, certainly was.
Ikumi Ogake. Zetterlund over for Kemner. And that goes...
I think that was out.
Yeah, that was called wide by the official. But it may have been touched by a Japanese player, so now another set point. Japan over for Fujiyoshi.
Right down the line there, Sean. Fujiyoshi was brilliant. She had 2 blockers in her face, able to sky up a little bit above him. Excellent placement.
When she gets hot, she is all but unstoppable. Now Japan still 5 points separating them from the Americans. That's Kemner, touched by the Japanese, another side out to the USA.
It's the thing when you play Japan, they're never going to give up. You let them stay in the game too long. See what happened yesterday to Brazil.
Again, it's Fujiyoshi. White shot for Zetterlund. Okay, not a lot of speed on that last kill. That could hurt the Japanese as we move along. Fujiyoshi's ball. Zetterlund, no problems with that. And a net violation by the Japanese gives the Americans set number 1. And when we return, set 2 action from Osaka Prefectural Gym. Don't go away.
ESPN Sports Basics. Let's take a look inside the sport of badminton. Badminton is distinguished from other racket sports by the fact that
we are in Osaka, the USA taking the opening set. And one thing we saw, they were using a lot of short serves against the Japanese. Why was that, Chuck Schreiner?
Well, what the strategy is Japanese very good at working the ball from the back part of the court to the attack line. You take that away from them. You don't give them the time that they normally like to have to set the ball. And plus, you have those big American girls with their hands up all the time. It's a pretty good strategy. It seemed to work fairly well for them in the first set.
So that first win, still very hard to come for the Japanese. Serving here in set number 2 will be Aiki Nagatomi. Meanwhile, the USA 2 sets away from taking the Osaka pool.
Of course, we saw the Japanese come back furiously yesterday against the Brazilians.
At the net, it's Yoko Zetterlund, a rare block from Zetterlund as she goes up all alone.
One of the few American girls under 6 feet tall. Was able to get up that time.
Again, very close to the net for the Japanese. They're not able to do very much with that ball. And Elaina Oden makes them pay.
Splitting those blockers right in half. There you see Obayashi and number 13 right in between them.
And when she gets some room to roam, very difficult to stop. Tara cross battle, very quick hands from her, and she'll get a chance to kill Fujiyoshi, and that a very difficult ball to handle for the Americans.
Fujiyoshi right from behind the attack line that time. The 22-year-old just rears up in between the blockers. Back line can't do anything with it.
Zetterlund over for cross battle. They're going to go over to Ogake. Nice dig from cross battle. But a net violation against the USA gives Japan the point.
Okay, there's the wide angle stuff. Misdirection going down that line, but there was a Japanese girl there to save it.
Elaina Oden, it looked like she took that ball a little early.
Took it too soon, yeah. Didn't get the height that she wanted, the trajectory. Japanese girls there to block.
This is Ito on the serve, and that will go long. Scott and Williams lay off that ball. Nakamura comes in for Ito.
Trying to get a little bit more ball control in that back line.
Nice job of decoying by the Japanese. Cross battle. Zetterlund now for cross battle. The block, but out the side of the court.
When the Americans are on their blocking game, a very difficult team to beat because you just can't get it past that first row and be effective.
And that is a point for the USA at 3-2.
Well, but Kemner on the net, she's disagreeing with it. But looked like from here, yeah, her hands were over and she made contact.
Yes, net says the official, so instead a side out to the Japanese. Ito swings it up for Fujiyoshi, and now she's starting to find the mark as she goes to the cross angle.
Yeah, they need that libero in the game at times like this. Organize the team. Nice save by Nakamura.
That's Oden. And getting it through was cross battle. She swings over to the right side now. Equally effective no matter where she's placed.
Yeah, she's one of these players like a couple of the Cuban girls, Brazilian player. There's a Brazilian coach right there who are able to do that, go from both side to side.
Kicking it over for Fujiyoshi. Well saved by Scott. But doing it from the right side that time, Asako Tajimi.
There we see the Japanese taking a page from the American playbook. They're getting closer to the net now, trying to mix up the timing of the American blockers.
T. Williams, and that catches the line. A beautiful arc on the kill from T. Williams.
T. Williams loves to take these long spikes. She doesn't like going into the blockers as much as she likes to kill the ball long.
Back for Fujiyoshi, down the line, and Zetterlund, no chance for her.
Well, they isolated her pretty good that time. Fujiyoshi saw her alone, put it right in her.
Scott dummying on the side. Kemner. This will be T. Williams. Nice save from Fujiyoshi.
Free ball to the Americans.
Defense now working for the Japanese. Oden brings the ball to Zetterlund. Scott couldn't get a lot on that, but the block from T. Williams back into the court. She went up with Danielle Scott.
Well, the Americans' blocking continues to be their strong suit in this portion of this championship. Not as effective in the first round in Jakarta or in the Olympic Games.
And that will be a side out. Fujiyoshi, a quick ball from her. She doesn't need a lot of room, does she?
No. And see the beautiful back set there, right over that first row of blockers.
Zetterlund for T. Williams. The block out the side, and that is going to be a side out.
Well, Williams that time opting to go right into the blockers, figuring that the angle was just too narrow for them to get it back into play. She was right.
I believe that is the first missed serve today from the United States. Scott, you heard her teammates encouraging her to go high, go past the blockers. That she does with great effectiveness.
Oh, she sure did. Yeah, she went cross court that time. There was nobody in that space. One of the leaders in attack at this tournament.
Over for Obayashi. Going very wide with the ball. It's rare to see her miss from so long.
Yeah, Obayashi normally very accurate in those kind of circumstances. Just not able to get on track as yet.
And speaking of getting on track, Scott, for the second time, missing the serve for the USA. Cross battle against two Japanese blockers. Kemner takes that off the forehead, so make it a side out to Japan.
Well, a little bit of complacency that time by Scott. She figured she'd go right through those blockers. Nice hard return block in the face of Kemner.
That's that quick ball again, the quick set and spike from Japan. That time it was Tajimi. And we're going to take a technical timeout and step away from Osaka Prefectural Gym. And Terry Liskovich, the winningest coach in USA volleyball history. He has engineered a first set victory here. Now in set number 2, they find themselves behind the Japanese going to that first technical timeout.
Yeah, I think the Japanese bringing their strategy at those last couple of points. So what they do need to do is have those little short sets and spike very quickly before the Americans get that blocking rotation up.
Sean Farquhar and Chuck Schreiner pleased to be part of ESPN's coverage of the Women's World Volleyball Grand Prix as we watch Naomi Ito send that ball long. Nakamura, the libero, back into the game.
Yeah, she sparked the Japanese the last time she came in, so she can do it again.
The dig from T. Williams. No answer on the part of her American teammates.
That off-speed stuff might just be the answer for the Japanese.
That time the American spiker had to go a long way. Sometimes it seems they're almost isolating on Nakamura. She continues to struggle.
Yeah, they like to get it in that back row. On the serve, they like to keep it close, and on those spikes, they like to go over that front row.
Again, the sharp angle working for Japan.
And again, that short set, Sean.
And that was a great set from Nagatomi as she gave the ball to Tajimi. Kemner, just too much speed on the ball.
Substitution for USA.
Weishoff will come back in.
9 out. Number 3, Weishoff in.
Weishoff, 34 years old, from the University of Southern California. That's where she played her college volleyball.
She was on the 1984 Olympic team. A very long ball that time from T. Williams.
With T just a little bit too much power on at that time. Got over the blockers all right.
Kemner And she's starting to have great success over on that right side.
Yeah, she's finding the range. And again, what she's going to try and do, she's got such a height advantage. She'll go right into the blockers, betting that that short angle, they'll never be able to keep it in play.
She is very powerful coming in on that sharp angle. Missing on the serve there, so it will go back to the Japanese, up by 2. Zetterlund over for Scott, and that couldn't be handled by Asako Tajimi.
Okay, that's that running spike again from left to right hand side. That time we saw a cross battle executing it before. That time Danielle Scott with a similar move.
And once again, you see that short serve from the Americans. It really gives Japan a lot of problems in setting up.
Right, because that, you're absolutely right, that set has to be perfect. Now, if it's a little bit high or anywhere near the net, it is legal to step over that net as long as you don't make contact and send it back the other way.
We return to live action. Great defensive work from Japan. That time Nakamura digging. This will be Ogake. And no chance for the Americans. And it looked at one point like Japan was really out of it. Ogake brings them back a kill to the corner.
Yeah, they stayed with it and stayed with it, dug out everything, got the angle that they needed, got the space.
Weishaupt there was able to save the block from Japan. T. Williams hauls it back in. It's Kemner. And I think now Karen Kemner trying to do a little bit too much.
Yeah, she should have just sent that ball long. There really wasn't the possibility there for any sort of a kill. Send it long, regroup.
That's cross battle. She goes down the line. I think Japan was looking for a cross court shot from Tara cross battle. So a side out to the U.S. Ogake's ball into the net. The touch from Ogake not able to find its way over. So that is a point for the USA.
And again, the second or third time we've seen some frustration on the part of the Japanese trying to solve that front row of the Americans.
And how many times today have we seen Japan use that quick set and spike?
Usually at the expense of Zetterlund.
Cross battle flies in, rejected by Japan. This is Weishaupt. Japan handles the dink shot, and then a great job of misdirection to Tajimi with a touch just going the other way.
And I think they had their eyes on Tajimi to do something else.
Weishaupt decoying for cross battle. Ito saves that ball. Great dig from Ogake. This is going to be Obayashi.
That's in.
A total team effort from Japan allows Obayashi to go down the line.
Well, her percentage isn't that high today, but boy, what a time for a big point. See Kemner getting out of the way.
Now Japan really anticipating those attacks from the USA. Another point there. Finishing us off was Ikume Ogake.
Splitting the defenders again, both rows.
So Lori Endicott trying to provide a steadying influence, another veteran for this American side. That's Weishaupt, the dink shot. Japan all over that ball. Endicott, that time for Weishaupt. Two longtime teammates, Endicott and Weishaupt.
Weishaupt can still do something with that short set. She got it.
Endicott, a Cornhusker out of the University of Nebraska. That'll be T. Williams from behind the attack line. What power from T. Williams, #1 for the U.S.
Boy, that one coming from center field, Sean.
Her first attack today, successful behind the attack line. Cross battle shot saved by Nakamura out the side of the court. You See the dig there from Danielle Scott.
Kemner had designs on that ball, but wisely left it.
The block from Weishoff goes out the side of the court. You can see 3 Japanese players in the vicinity. They laid off that ball, so a side out to Japan at 9-7. Kemner, not much on that ball. It's Fujiyoshi now. Nakamura slides up to protect. And that will go off the hand of an American, so now 10-7. And we're going to get a technical timeout. We'll step away with the U.S. on top, 10-7. Set number 1. Now Japan have come back to lead at 10-7, looking much like we saw yesterday, Japan against Brazil.
Yeah, Japan waking up, a little bit of complacency on the part of the Americans, although they're hustling. Probably these 2 teams will hustle for every ball more than any of the others. But the Japanese very determined. They want a game. They want a match.
And what you said about hustling is reflected in the fact that Ogake and Nagatomi are on top of the leaderboard for blocking. That time, though, it was a kill. You see it here from Tajimi, and that was off a misplayed ball from the Americans, now 11-7. This is Kemner from way back. What a dig from Nakamura to keep that ball going. Once again, Kemner, and then she goes into the net, and she's got to be feeling a little demoralized. What is it going to take to get a ball by the Japanese?
Well, Nakamura, Japanese thoroughly deserved that point. What a save.
And now USA wants to talk it over, down by 5. It was interesting to note Nakamura is, of course, the libero player, and what the Japanese players were saying is that Nakamura being the libero, that allows them to concentrate on their other roles, namely attacking, blocking. Interesting to see the interplay between offense and defense there.
Yes, and then on the other side, I don't think we've even seen the American libero yet. They're content to play a more traditional type of power game, blocking game, a hustle for everything. Very similar, actually, the Japanese and the Americans. They're not going to overpower you, but hustle, hustle all the way. There's Nakamura, the star of that last point.
Incredible dig from Nakamura. Not the tallest of players, but she plays much bigger than she is.
Sure does.
Kemner that time on a decoy. The USA running into position.
Nice forehand save by the Japanese girl.
And Kemner goes up on the block, and she puts a stop to that in short order. So this will be a side out to the U.S. Over 4, Fujiyoshi. T. Williams saves that ball. Really nothing she could do with it except play it back from behind, and that allowed Japan to hammer it.
Well, as it turned out, that save was just a set for the Japanese.
The left-hander, Obayashi. And Kemner's ball goes off the left hand of Fujiyoshi. Once again, a side out.
And from pretty deep, and again, she's just aiming at the blocker. Anytime they see the Americans isolate the Japanese on that side.
And Chuck, it looks like Kemner is much more comfortable on the right side of the court.
Yeah, total right-hander here, Kemner.
That time it was Tajimi down the line, but she misses outside. That is a point for the U.S. down 8-12. And now a side out, so Tajimi makes the adjustment, brings the ball back in, and Nakamura will take a seat, so they're going to go big on offense.
Yeah, they're time to put the set away.
It's Danielle Scott down the middle. We haven't seen the U.S. really go into the middle with too many kills today.
Yeah, what they're trying to do is take all the misdirection and the stuff from the wings, get the ball over the front row of blockers, and if not, at least hit it into them.
Weishoff now for T. Williams. She had to hit that from way behind. Endicott now. It's cross battle. A little floater from her. And Japan makes them pay. 2 times the USA sent a ball over the net very tentatively.
Yeah, since the Japanese have started employing this tactic of the short set, they're having a lot more success. Look at that, 3 blockers up, falling back into position. Great hustle by the Japanese.
And Scott's ball into the net, so 2 quick ones now for the Japanese. And they are now within 2 of leveling it at 1 set apiece. Back into the game comes Yoko Zetterlund, and you can see why. Of course, a little tentative on the setting for the U.S. They weren't able to get the big kills.
Yeah, Zetterlund's the one who has the soft hand. She's their #1 setter. They need her in there.
Zetterlund kicks it over for T. Williams, and that does catch the line, so a side out at 13-8.
And right away, Zetterlund with a great set for T.
For USA. #1
And Elaine Youngs will come in for T. Williams. So Liskovich, the chess master. Zetterlund, and I don't think Scott was expecting the reverse set from Yoko Zetterlund.
Yeah, she was looking decoy the whole way. And look at Zetterlund trying to explain, look, I'm in charge here. Be ready. Break, though, for the Americans.
Danielle Scott will serve for the USA. And now Japan is looking a lot more comfortable right at the front of the net. They're playing a lot of balls, maybe within 6 inches of the net.
Perfect setting, and it's short setting. It's messing up the timing of the American blockers.
Last touch by Ito, a rocket off the hand of Weishoff.
So there we go, reverse set.
That's Obayashi. Zetterlund extended herself, and there Nakamura, another dig from Nakamura. That's cross battle. Once again, it's the Americans. Kemner, and by taking something off that ball and going to the dink shot, she gives them the point.
There you see the spike by Nakamura. Great save by Zetterlund to keep the ball in play. Equally great save on the other side, Sean, by Nakamura. That's 2 in the last 5 or 6 points for her.
So now the USA within 4. Going right down the middle that time, Ogake.
Well, the Americans, of course, looking for Obayashi on the wing. Ogaki coming at him right in the middle where they'd splintered their support.
That's cross battle. Obayashi brings the ball back in. It's Tajimi, and then Danielle Scott. And she broke one of the great axioms, taking her eye off the ball.
Took her eye off the ball. Double hit point for Japan.
So now a set point for the Japanese. This is Kemner, and she decides to go behind the 2 Japanese blockers. Tajimi couldn't get her left hand over in time.
Yeah, she did that from the left side that time. It's got to give her some confidence. She'd missed 3 or 4 ones prior to that.
Obayashi, a good ball into the middle, side out to Japan.
Well, these short sets are killing the Americans at the net. They fairly well dominated when the Japanese were putting the ball high up in the air, but this set's been different.
Weishoff displays a free one. It's Tajimi, and that will be the set for the Japanese. They take it 15-9. We are all level here at 1 set apiece. When we return, set 3 action. You're watching volleyball on ESPN.
Japan can do it. They're certainly capable. They're the top 8 teams in the world.
Fujiyoshi was very quiet during that second set. Of course, inconsistent play has marked her performance here in the WVGP. Serving it will be Danielle Scott here to lead off set number 3. Crowd here still very reserved in Osaka, Japan, Chuck.
Well, that'll pick up. Great rivals, United States and Japan.
Going right into the middle, Akumi Ogake. Now, she's usually used as a blocker, one of the best in the world. That time, though, she goes to the kill. Zetterlund forced to just touch that ball. Nice save by Scott off the shot from Obayashi. And then Zetterlund goes up. She's showing us some versatility today, isn't she?
Yeah, she's had to step up because of the inconsistency of Scott and cross battle. I think that's the second kill she's had today out of 2 attempts. It's a short set again.
Now Kemner goes wide to cross battle, and that's what Japan needs to do. The block must come back into the court. Too often, you've seen the blocks from Japan carry out the side. Ogake has the presence of mind to turn herself, bring the ball back in.
Yeah, the Americans that time sort of telegraphing their spike moves, enabling the Japanese to get 3 blockers over there. There's the fault.
That was
by Ogake.
That's right, Ogake. See the USA now starting to anticipate that quick set and spike. Kemner, and a great job at the net from Fujiyoshi. What a talent. And then T. Williams puts an end to that. But did you see the hands of Fujiyoshi taking that ball?
So quick, these Japanese girls at the net. There we go. Maybe a 1/10 of a second to react on that one.
And then Fujiyoshi from the wing one more time, but they go to Obayashi. Scott comes in to dig that ball out. Cross battle shot. And a net violation committed by Japan. I think they're going to nail Obayashi on that one.
Yeah, well, to me, it looked like they were both on the net.
Fujiyoshi, 2 chances at it. Blocked by America out the side of the court, so a side out. But more and more, you're seeing Fujiyoshi become the focal point of that Japanese offense.
Yeah, she has got to step up. Obayashi cannot do it alone.
Oden, the decoy, and then Kemner, a brilliantly placed shot from Karen Kemner.
Well, Kemner calling on all of her years of experience for that one. Found a little hole. Blockers had already committed themselves. Obayashi couldn't get there from the middle.
Going down the line, Obayashi, that just caught the line and skipped out. Virtually no chance at all for the USA to respond. This will be Tajimi on the serve. Japan down by 2. Couldn't dig it out from Obayashi, so Scott, nice work. The USA using touch a lot here in the 3rd set.
Yeah, I think that's what they were told that in between sets, we've got to mix it up a little bit more. It's becoming a little bit predictable.
And then a kick into the middle that time from Fujiyoshi.
Very low percentage of attack points for Fujiyoshi, but they really need her now. She can bring that percentage up this 3rd, 4th set, possibly 5th set. Japan can win it.
Then a great job by T. Williams as she explodes, coming in on the wing. And we're going to get our first look today at the libero. As always, Salima Davidson, the former Penn State Nittany Lion. Over for cross battle. Great digging on both sides of the court. That's cross battle, and she sends that long. Tajimi had an inkling to take that ball and then laid off.
I think she was just trying to get out of the way. As you can see here, it comes back, trying to get the ball long. We're not going to see it again.
That's Ito. Quick shot from her. Kemner saves it now. Scott. Japan's got 4 players now in the front court. Over for Fujiyoshi. The libero Davidson digs it out. Fujiyoshi again, and down the line, she tightens it up. It's Ogake, rather. Akumi Ogake, number 17.
Well, the Americans playing a game of dig ball that time. Two great spikes by Fujiyoshi. Ogaki putting it away finally.
Scott goes down the line.
Well, some oohs and ahs from the crowd that time, Sean. Scott buried that one.
Very powerful shot down the side from Danielle Scott. Again, it's that quick set. A lot of the Asian teams employ that shot, don't they?
Especially when they're playing teams much taller than them. It's one equalizer. Only problem is it's a very difficult maneuver to exact.
But Elaina Oden shows us how as she takes the quick set from Yoko Zetterlund, and that will bring Nakamura, the libero, back into the game.
Well, it's like a heavyweight boxing match right now, just pounding each other. No points particularly. There's one.
So now 3-1 for the U.S. Elaina Oden takes a missed shot from Japan. That's Oden in the middle. And then again, that quick set, no chance at all. You saw the outstretched hands of Danielle Scott. She was looking for help. It just wasn't there.
Yeah, it wasn't there. Great stuff by Fujiyoshi.
Kemner, this now a free ball for the Japanese. Fujiyoshi, it's Obayashi rather.
Obayashi skipping from that right side over to the left. You see her going behind. There's the decoy in between the blockers.
Ogake's spike serve finds the net, so the USA will get it back at 3-2.
That's the third fault for Ogake.
Nakamura keeps it going. Fujiyoshi down the line. Zetterlund saves it. This will be T. Williams. The reverse set. And then at the net, Tajimi goes up with cross battle, and cross battle sends it out the side.
She also made contact with the net. Cross battle did.
So Japan will be serving down by 1 here at 3-2. T. Williams going up against two Japanese blockers, Nagatomi and Tajimi. Too much on that play.
Yeah, and that decoy on the right side fooled nobody. I think they saw Williams coming up from the rear part of the court to the front. They had the blockers there.
And then Kemner with a boomer. She goes wide. Using the entire court here, Karen Kemner.
Yeah, had a good look in at that. You see the space between the two blockers in the mid part of the court, right behind the attack line.
Now Japan can set up Fujiyoshi. Good dig from Elaina Oden. Just stuck that arm out, kept it going, and then Fujiyoshi and Tajimi, I think both thought the other was going to take it.
Yeah, take it, it's mine.
Obayashi sets for Fujiyoshi, and then Oden and Scott, they got a little tied up.
Yeah, same situation happened to the Japanese on the previous point, happened to the Americans. A little bit of confusion. Of course, the ball is coming so fast.
Kemner's shot again. She likes to go cross court.
She's lethal there. That's her spot. See her split those blockers.
And you can just see the intensity in her eyes. Fujiyoshi with a great ball, that time doing it from the right side of the court.
Now that's what the Japanese have to have. See her attack statistics going up a little. Down around 10% at one time, now hovering around 30.
And that is a bullet off the hand of Danielle Scott.
Scott using that move that her and cross battle like to use, moving from left to right, catching that high set.
It was Tajimi, but when you give the USA time to set up on the block, they're going to take it. And we are at the technical timeout. That's 5 points for the U.S. We'll return to Osaka. Don't go away.
Tonya
on form here. It looks like this one could go all the way, Chuck Schreiner.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a 5-setter, Sean. The way these girls are playing, it's real tough to get momentum. Both these teams hustling all over the court, chasing everything down. Momentum changing almost every point. Long rallies, all the ingredients for a long one.
The USA winning the opening set, then Japan rebounded to take set number 2. And in the third set, the USA leading it early here at 5-3. T. Williams to serve for the U.S. Of course, with a win today, they would lock up the Osaka pool. Flurry at the net. It's Scott now. An excellent dig from Ogake, and that will go out the side untouched by a Japanese.
Eyeball to eyeball that time. As you can see, there's a spike first splitting the defenders. Another brilliant save, this time by Ogake.
And then a dump shot from Zetterlund.
Zetterlund's so smart around that net. What she lacks in height, she sure makes up for in savvy.
Liskovich continuing to urge the American women to keep those hands up on the block, and you can see why there. Cross battle and Oden just too much for the Japanese.
That time, that short set anticipated very well by cross battle, and the other block, I can't see who it is.
That was Oden.
Oden.
And that is untouched by an American blocker.
Timeout for Japan.
And Nobuchuki Kuzuwa, I think he's got to right this ship.
Yeah, he does. Telegraphing some things, going to the middle. They need to bring up their attack from the wings just a little bit more. Start employing Fujiyoshi, maybe have her swing across from left to right. Also have Obayashi doing that. Maybe bringing her up from the attack line. They've got to mix it up.
This can happen to Japan. We've seen it where they go into a funk, and it usually costs them 3 or 4 points. It's very difficult for them to climb back into the set.
Especially against, again, a more experienced, a more powerful team. They need to stay within range.
Obayashi's ball, it could not be handled by the American women. This will be Naomi Ito with Japan down by 4. What a dig that time from Fujiyoshi, but she can't do it 2 in a row.
Well, the Japanese girls on that last sequence, they're sort of frozen on that left side of the court. Little dink to the right side. Fujiyoshi couldn't get to it.
The quick set that time, the USA anticipating it so well.
Yeah, they've gone to the well maybe one too many times on that one. These short sets are going to have to be more strategically located, maybe on the left or the right-hand side, Sean. Stay away from that middle for a while.
Zetterlund continuing to serve short. It's Ogake down the line.
And that's just what they did.
And one thing that the USA has got to watch out for is their backcourt defense. So far, it's been the front court assuming the bulk of the work, but they cannot afford to see their backcourt get lulled.
Right.
As we watch the Japanese go up and get themselves a point, it's Tajimi showing the way on the defensive block.
There it is, trying to split those blockers, just not enough space. Well, that's what they didn't need. I think that's her fourth one, Ogake. Fourth fault in the game, in the match.
Down a set, down by 4. They do not need to see their serves go into the net. And then it's T. Williams.
Well, she pounced on that. I'll tell you, a bad set on that opposite side just turns into a set for the Americans, as T. Williams demonstrated.
She didn't need a lot of room there. So 9-4. T. Williams, but it's Obayashi who turns her away at the door.
There we go, double tandem blocking right there. Eyes ahead, hands bent right over the net, textbook blocking.
And again, 2 times in a row now, the Japanese have seen their serves fail to get into play. Again, the USA will take over at 9-4. And at 10-4, Nakamura can't get it done. We're going to take a technical timeout. Quick break, and then we'll return to Osaka Prefectural Gym. You're watching the Women's World Volleyball Grand Prix on ESPN. Well, third set lead here. There's Yoko Zetterlund, chief setter.
American girls very vocal, very patriotic. The Japanese no less emotional on that other side, but a little bit more subdued. They've been here before. They've been down 2-1 or 10-3. They can come back.
We watched them come from a long way back against the Brazilian women in set number 4. That's Fujiyoshi. Elaina Oden digs that ball out, up for a cross battle, and she goes into the middle.
Well, the Americans pulling their game together right now, using that triple threat that they've got with Kemner cross court. And Oden, who's in the game now, specifically for offensive skills. Double hit.
Fujiyoshi almost coming in from the signboard. She runs a long way, knocks that down. Nakamura, the libero, will take a seat. Look how far back Fujiyoshi goes to take this ball. T. Williams. And Tajimi's bump set flies out the side of the court.
Action fast and furious right now. Americans really getting keyed up here.
Within 4 points here of taking a 2-1 lead over Japan. Now make it 3 points. T. Williams goes up and answers the challenge from Fujiyoshi.
Well, Fujiyoshi not very wise there, trying to set right into the blocking, trying to spike right into the blocking.
And there you can see this is one thing Liskovich has urged the American women to do, to get their hands overneath the net. But that time it's Ito, just too quick for the American women.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know the intricacies of volleyball, it is legal to put your hands over the net as long as you don't make contact with it.
And then turning it around, that's about the 5th time today we've seen Yoko Zetterlund go to the dump shot.
Yeah, good combination of power and finesse on the American part right there. Zetterlund with the overhand catch. Short serve again.
And that time the Americans cannot bring the block back into play. It's Ogake trying to give this Japanese team a lift. Down 12-4. Coming into the game will be Kyoko Fukuda. Our first look at her today.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Fukuda. Plays for Hitachi in Japan, 26 years of age. 1.78 meters in height.
Scott's ball, and that looked to catch the line against the Japanese. And once again, we've seen Scott go out for Weishoff on a number of occasions through the first 2 sets.
Yeah, we don't lose a lot of height with Weishoff and Scott, both about the same. But Weishoff brings you a lot of experience steadying when you've got the lead.
Now make it 13-4.
Obayashi taking a rest as well. Fukuda.
Kemner with a prayer dig. Americans really blocking effectively over there. Kemner puts the ball up. Zetterlund elects to keep it. And on that second shot, she has been unbeatable.
Well, that's why she's one of the best setters in the world. Not only does she set well, she'll get points for you occasionally throughout the game, too. Very intelligent.
You can see it there, 6 of 6. Now a set point for the USA. And that goes long so quickly. And check it out, the USA actually touching this ball, and it was Elaina Oden.
Yeah, right over the top of the net, they're making contact.
Fujiyoshi caught way out of position. Really don't see her too much playing towards the back of the court, do we? She's always pressing forward.
Yeah, that's what they have her in the game to do.
So now set point number 2. Zetterlund flattens out her serve. And that goes wide. And will give the USA set number 3. They lead it 2-1. 4-set action when we return to Osaka Prefectural. We are back in Osaka for the start of set number 4. And after winning set number 2, Japan could not capitalize or gain any momentum. They lost set 3 to the USA, relatively easy fashion at 15-4.
Yeah, what was successful for Japan in set 2 is that little short set at the net. The Americans adjusted their game enough. They dropped some people in the back. They got their blockers with their timing on a little bit better. So it's going to be up to Japan to come up with a new game plan for this set.
There you see Yoko Zetterlund, one of the big reasons why they took that third set 15-4. Great setting, but she also got up on the blocks and spiked. That time the spike coming from Danielle Scott.
Yeah, Scott hit that middle that time, didn't put a whole lot of power in it. Placement is what got it.
That's Kemner. She goes into the net. How much do you think the Japanese will be mentally affected by the fact that they lost at 15-4?
Well, you know, we saw on the surface, it looks like it'd be very tough for the Japanese to climb back in this. But again, we saw yesterday almost a repeat sort of condition. Brazil up 2-1, and Japan able to come back and take set number 4.
That time going down the line, it's Akumi Ogake. 11 attacks for her today. Not a spectacular percentage, but she gets the job done there.
Yeah, she's their third best probably attacker on the team.
Japan scrambles, but the ball taken off the shoulder of Nagatomi.
Now they're leaving Oden in the beginning of this 4th set. They're very effective at the net.
The set for Obayashi, pulled down by Scott. Elaina Oden, and you can see Zetterlund and Elaina Oden. The quick shot there from Zetterlund. Look at this, not a lot of height on that ball.
No, not a lot, and actually they had to work out that communication very, very quick.
Good defense by Japan. It's T. Williams. And there you see Japan was really caught out of position. Obayashi, no chance at all.
No, she was just coming to the net. Then she saw that the ball was going to come cross court to her. She couldn't backtrack quick enough.
Zetterlund just pokes that ball, keeps it going. Tajimi, and the set goes over for Ogake. One more time, Japan. But the USA digging so well and then booming it. Danielle Scott, after not being involved at all in that play, comes in and finishes it off.
Yeah, great spike by Scott. But going back to what Japan needs to do, they've got to get back to that short set, but not in the middle of the court. Maybe try the wings. They're not out of this game.
And again, a miscue. They wanted to get a kill out of that. Instead, it's the USA, and they burn them. Terra cross battle going cross court.
That's what the United States does so well. Whenever the other team makes a mistake, they have such heavy hitters up at that line. They've had so much match experience. They're able to make them pay for any mistake.
Nagatomi back for Ogake. They keep it at the net, does the USA, and then a missed hit from Elaina Oden. Zetterlund really had done her job.
Yeah, Oden thought that probably it was going to be a little bit higher set. Those circumstances, you don't want a high set, you want a short one.
Cross battle shot knocked back by Fujiyoshi. Now 2-4, Japan to serve.
Lone blocker there.
We're just starting to get an indication of the talent of Maki Fujiyoshi. Now 4-3. So Japan back within 1.
Well, this whole series started back with a mistake by Oden on the set by Zetterlund 2 points ago. It's carrying over.
Kemner goes up, and again, Japan, just when you count them out, they come back, and we are tied at 4 apiece.
Also, Japan very capable of taking advantage of mistakes. Kemner trying to force it through the 2 blockers. No way.
Zetterlund for a cross battle, and she goes down the line. Nakamura tries for the dig. It doesn't come.
Cross battle so strong. The textbook way to teach a spike is to jump with both feet. She doesn't do it. She goes off on her left foot.
Zetterlund plays that up off the touch. T. Williams, a big one. And amazing, Elaina Oden actually lost that battle at the net with a much smaller player. So now Japan will serve at 4-all.
Well, Oden having some problems here at the net. The Japanese capitalizing on her missed timing in this case. 2 or 3 points in a row.
Kemner's ball, and that gets through the Japanese blockers.
Well, that was just straight power that time. The blockers were set. They were there. They didn't go for Oden's fake. Just couldn't keep the ball in play.
And here we are well into the 4th set, and she has not lost 1 iota of her power. Scott, and that goes long.
Scott not having the type of match that we've seen her have in the past. That was close.
The libero for the U.S. is in, Salima Davidson, and she'll have to bump that one up.
Well, an ideal time or an opportune time for the American libero to come in there. Davidson digging that one out.
Zetterlund over for Scott, and again, that goes long, so it will be another side out. We are stuck at 4 each.
Yeah, and this time, we've seen these long rallies before. It's because both teams were playing so well. This time, it's just a series of mistakes by both teams.
That time, T. Williams, I think that time she had out-jumped the Japanese blockers. They were a little slow getting off their feet. Nakamura comes back in as the libero.
Short serve again.
And that goes long. And we are going to get a technical timeout. And as we leave you, the USA leads at 5-4, and they've got a 2-set-to-1 lead over Japan. Don't go away. The Osaka Prefectural Gym, ESPN's continuing coverage of the World Volleyball Grand Prix. Last day of competition in the Osaka pool. The story here, the USA have a 2-set-to-1 lead. They lead at 5-4 here in the 4th set. And if they take this set, they take the Osaka pool.
Yeah, a lot of motivation here for the Americans to wrap this thing up early. You know, they don't want to be on the court too long against these Japanese, especially with the home crowd and the Japanese tradition of always fighting. 5th set would be very dangerous for the Americans.
Again, very close to the net for the Japanese. That will be Ogake. The ball is live. Nakamura puts it up. And then hammering it right back was Danielle Scott. That was kind of a risky shot from Scott.
Yeah, Nakamura thought she could find a little space behind that front row of blockers. The only problem is she didn't get it back far enough.
Davidson, the libero, not able to handle it. So they will stop at 6 points. Japan will get the ball back. Scott, and she finds the line. It's not too often that she goes cross court. Usually it's a shot right down the side.
Yeah, that's what she does best. She's a power player.
And then finding the end line that time, it's Naomi Ito. 10 attacks today for Ito.
Well, the Japanese found the Americans short-handed back there. Scott was the only person deep, and that's where they put it. Nice play.
Great defensive work that time from Ogake to keep the ball alive. The USA got another shot at it, but again, that time Ito. Kemner on the bump set. Cross battle, and that is a mistake in the backcourt from Fujiyoshi. That ball was headed way out.
Yeah, it was out. It's kind of throwing it away there. All the Americans' big hitter is in on that action, that previous point.
And then Obayashi, and I think Zetterlund is cross with herself. If she could have that back, she'd pull her arms into her chest and let that ball go out.
Yeah, she sure would. But that illustrates what we were saying earlier, Sean. What the Japanese need to do is that short set was working for them, but not in the middle anymore. They need to pull it out to the wings. It worked for them that time. Let's see if they continue.
Kemner's ball off the hand of Fujiyoshi. So a real baptism by fire today for Maki Fujiyoshi.
Yeah, coming up against a girl the size of Kemner.
And this is the whole problem for Japan. That first bump set is played so close to the net, it does not allow the setter for Japan any margin of error.
Yeah, and 20 or 30% of the time, the Americans just reach their long arms over there and pound it back.
Kemner's reverse bump set, and it's Elaina Oden. What a shot from Oden.
Oden making up for some of the mistakes she made at the beginning of this set, pounding that ball right down the middle. She gets a nice set that she can handle, towers above those blockers, puts it over by the libero on that left side.
And Japan will call timeout. You see USA very loose under the tutelage of Liskovic. Kozua, meanwhile, ever the professor. You take a look at the best three attackers today. Tajimi up there, and you see only 12 from Fujiyoshi. They need her to step it up, and the time is now.
She has to do it now. We've been saying this since the beginning of the last set. Kind of an off day for Obayashi. But then again, she can't come out and have 25, 30 kills every game. She has to have help. She's getting some from Nagimi, but not from Fujiyoshi, who's still playing very tentatively.
They give it over for Fujiyoshi. That is the 9th point of the fourth set. Elaina Oden goes up and answers the call from Maki Fujiyoshi.
And Fujiyoshi hitting right into the heart of the blockers there. Needed more of an angle. Perhaps the set wasn't where she wanted it, but you can't force it like that.
Daniel Scott's bump. This is cross battle from behind the attack line, and that will go long. So Japan gets the side out, down 4-9.
Well, cross battle trying her favorite shot, trying to get over that first row of blockers. She's usually very pinpoint with that. Missed badly that time.
Oden taking that ball all the way. And the one liability that Oden presents is she's not the quickest of players, and when she gets ready to go up for a kill, it gives the blockers a lot of time to set up.
That's right, and she doesn't have much movement to her leaping either. She, what we say, telegraphs it, and there's another mistake by Oden.
And you can see how easily the blockers were able to get into position to anticipate the shot from Oden.
We'll be surprised if the coach lifts her in a little bit. She has a tendency to make mistakes in rashes. There's a yellow card coming out for Oden, probably for throwing the ball.
Meanwhile, Japan have quickly built themselves 2 points to climb back within 3 here at 6-9. And they will stop there. Nakamura, no chance at all. That's not her fault.
No, it wasn't. There's just too much power on that. Blockers were able to get their hands to it. That's about it.
And once again, Weishaupt comes in for Oden. And I don't think she's happy about being substituted at this point.
Well, she's disappointed in her performance more than anything else. She made 3 or 4 mistakes at the beginning, then compounded it by making 3 or more, then gets the yellow card.
And a quick side out for the Japanese. They go to work. It was Fujiyoshi. Now 13 attacks for her.
Now let's see if the Japanese can build on these mistakes that the Americans have been making. Another mistake.
That was a net violation. No, now they're calling it against the Japanese. So it will be a side out to the Americans.
Yeah, well, it looked like the American girl was right on the net.
And playing it off the net, Japan over for Scott. Here's a chance for the Japanese to capitalize. Instead, Fujiyoshi goes long on that ball.
Well, trying to match power up with those blockers, that's not what you need to do at this point in the game. She should have gone cross court.
And at the technical timeout, we will step away and return to Osaka right after this. At the Osaka Prefectural Gym, where the USA have 10 points here in the 4th set. They are leading the Japanese. More importantly, they have a 2-set-to-1 lead.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough now for the Japanese to get back in it. But, you know, they are playing at home. We've seen this team 4 points behind yesterday in one of the sets against Brazil, 14-10. They come back and win the set. America has to guard against complacency.
This will be Karen Kemner, longtime member of the USA volleyball team. Fujiyoshi. And now she tries to right the Japanese ship, going cross court.
Substitution for Japan.
Now that's the exact play that she should have done on the previous point, where she tried to go right through the blockers instead of misdirecting.
And this is interesting. Hoshino, Kayo Hoshino, number 14, has come in from Ogake. And that is a point for the Japanese as Scott sends her kill into the net. But Ogake, one of the stronger players, so she takes a seat. Hoshino comes in. Hoshino plays for NEC in the Japanese V-League. That's T. Williams. And that play, very predictable. The question was, could Japan stop it? Obviously, the answer, no.
Right off the fingertips of the Japanese blockers. Short serve again.
And it's Nagatomi who tries to go up against Tara Cross battle, loses that battle. So now 11-7 for the Americans.
Americans very successful with that short serve, Sean, all day long.
And nailing Weishaupt that time was Hoshino just off the bench.
Hoshino taking that, going through the single blocker. Nice way to make her introduction into the match.
Nagatomi serves, Kemner bumps, cross battle spikes. Hoshino misses.
Hoshino only 23 years old. Japanese trying to gradually work these younger players into the lineup. What better stage than against the United States?
So Elaine Youngs one more time in for Scott. And a thunderous spike that time from Hoshino. And you wonder why Kazuha did not bring this lady into the competition earlier.
Was able to avoid both blockers that time.
And that time winning it at the net, Zetterlund, a turnaround dump shot.
Very good at turning a looking like disaster play for the Americans into a side out. He's been doing that all match long.
Weishaupt keeps that ball going over for cross battle. And that ball, a tremendous amount of top on that.
Substitution for Japan.
I don't think that decoy in the middle by Weishaupt fooled any of the Japanese. It was just pure power by cross battle on that left side.
And now Ogake comes back in for Hoshino.
Hoshino does her job, gets one kill.
Back it goes into the net. Now 13-7 for the USA. Desperation time now for Japan. Long floater from Zetterlund over for Obayashi. Zetterlund gives it for cross battle, and the touch shot from cross battle. Japan was thinking spike all the way. Now a match point for the USA.
Yeah, excellent play there by cross battle. I think that's the first time, maybe the second time, first time since the first set that we've seen her do that.
Hauling that back in is Nagatomi. T. Williams for Weishoff, and that will do it. The USA under Zetterlund, Weishoff, cross battle. Youngs and Kemner have taken it 3-1. They knock off Japan, and with it win the Osaka pool. Japan leaves Osaka without a win. Will return after this.